Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is something that I have been quite happy for, that the Supreme Court is finally laying the law down onto TikTok and banning it. And I'll be addressing some of the things of what I think why it should be banned, and some other things too, and we could give me your guys' opinions as well on this thing here, because I would like to know. But this is something that I have been quite happy for, and we'll be going over today. So what we have here from CNBC is saying Supreme Court upholds TikTok ban, but Trump might offer lifeline. Goes on to say here the Supreme Court on Friday upheld the law requiring China-based BitDance to divest its ownership of TikTok by Sunday or face an effective ban of the popular social media app in the U.S. BitDance has so far refused to sell TikTok, meaning many U.S. users could lose access to the app this weekend. The app may still work for those who are already to have TikTok on their phones, although BitDance has also threatened to shut the app down. In a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court sided with the Biden administration, upholding the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act, which President Joe Biden signed in April. There is no doubt that for more than 170 million Americans, TikTok offers a distinctive and expansive outlet for expression, means of engagement, and source of community. The Supreme Court's opinion said, but Congress has determined that divestiture is necessary to address its well-supported national security concerns regarding TikTok's data collection practices and relationship with a foreign adversary. Now, I'm hoping Trump does not offer a lifeline to this at all. There's going to be reasons why. I think he's partly doing this because of the fact that he won the election through TikTok. But again, I don't think it's a good idea. I'll be explaining this very soon here, because this is a problem that I have with TikTok and kind of the degeneracy that has been brought on part, right? TikTok's fate in the U.S. now lies in the hands of the president-elect Donald Trump, who originally favored a TikTok ban during his first administration, but has since flip-flopped on the matter. In December, Trump asked the Supreme Court to pause the law's implementation and allow his administration the opportunity to pursue a political resolution of the questions at issue in the case. In a post on his social media app, Truth Social, Trump wrote that the decision was expected and everyone must respect it. My decision on TikTok will be made in the not too distant future, but I must have time to review the situation. Stay tuned. Trump began to speak more favorably of TikTok after he met in February with billionaire Republican mega donor Jeff Yazd. Yazd is a major BitDance investor who also owns a stake in the owner of Truth Social. Trump will be inaugurated Monday, etc., etc. Don't care about that. We all know he's going to be inaugurated, or what have you, right? So, yeah, that's what's going on here. So the Supreme Court is finally laying the law down for banning TikTok. Now, here are my reasons why I think TikTok and necessarily should be banned. It's because of China, and I do not trust China whatsoever. China is one of the least countries I would trust. I think I trust Russia than I would trust China, and they are a huge problem for our country. And TikTok has been shown to only be pushing horrible social media stuff onto kids. Now, I can understand people saying like, well, what about the freedom of speech? Well, you can't just do this and stuff like that. I can understand that. And that is something that I always have a bit of a conflict with. But I think with this case here, it's better off being banned than not. Because you have people trying to, the Chinese government can push propaganda and stuff like that. It only bans conservatives, and it's probably only siding with Trump as well, so they can keep on pushing the propaganda onto kids. They'll betray Trump eventually, or something along those lines. I think that's what would end up happening here when TikTok actually gets a win. Now, here's some of the other reasons why I think there's a huge problem here. Now, I understand that a lot of U.S. companies probably most likely take your information and harvest it, give it to other companies, etc., right? I can understand that. The difference is that we have the ability to actually sue them here in the U.S., where you can't sue BitDance, which owns TikTok, right? And here's another problem with that as well. So BitDance is located in headquarters is in Beijing, China. All right, so. Yeah, so that's where it's actually located. And since the headquarters is in Beijing, China, they have to follow, obviously, China laws. It makes sense, right? Well, the problem with China laws is that BitDance is subject to Chinese laws that require it to assist or cooperate with the Chinese government, intelligence work, and to ensure that the Chinese government has the power to access and control private data the company holds. Yes, this is true. Now, here's the problem that I have. If you go to Reuters and you look at this, it says the Chinese government has never and will never require companies or individuals to collect data or provide data to it in a way that violates the law, China's foreign ministry said Friday. Reuters is really trying to give this a thing to where is saying like, oh, well, we're not doing this. We're going to listen to the Chinese that constantly lie and hide everything from their people. They're saying, oh, we would never do this. This is not something that we do. But in their Chinese law, that's actually what it states. And of course, if you go here, it says data sovereignty provides China with a straightforward means to regulate the activities of foreign companies within its borders. By enforcing its laws and on these entities, China ensures compliance with regulations such as data localization and government access to information. This framework prevents foreign companies from circumventing Chinese oversight, reinforcing the nation's control over the data generated on its soil. Another reason why China is doing this is so they can keep control of their people as well. They do not want outside information going to their people, because obviously if the people got more information from the outside world, they'll end up revolting. It's something similar to what North Korea is doing, because the outside world tells them a different story. So again, from Chinese companies, we have this here, from Chinese multinationals like Alibaba, Tencent, etc., to domestic companies, they are all compelled to comply with the provisions of China's data sovereignty requirements. Okay, so this is all sounding very similar to this, right? All right, but here's another thing too. This is something that I think everybody has to look at, because this is a bigger bigger thing that people don't know. It's hard to find this information, by the way, because it's always talking about, like, this particular thing here or whatever, but it's not going too in depth on what I would deem as good. And so we have government access and control. The cybersecurity laws gives the Chinese government extensive authority to access data held by companies operating within China, including the power to require technical support and assistance in matters of national security or criminal investigations. Additionally, the law strengthens China's censorship framework by compelling companies to monitor and censor content considered illegal or harmful to national security, social order, or public morality. Now, notice how this is contradicting here on what is going on with Reuters and what they're saying. So, yeah, this is the reason why you don't actually go and listen to far left media, because they tend to be lying a bit. So, yeah, that is what we have here. And and my issue with China in particular, right, or TikTok, I could say, is not really the fact that it's only just owned by China, right? I think TikTok has produced a huge amount of negativity onto the channel and onto this app itself. It hasn't done the U.S. remotely any good. And I think it is a problem. I think a lot of social media companies, not just TikTok, should maybe not necessarily be banned, because I don't think that's the correct way here. I don't think they should be banned. But I do think that these companies should not be allowed to give any type of information or whatever to kids until the age of at least 16, preferably 18. But I can make deals or whatever with all those lines there. I can bypass that a little bit. I think all social media companies should be should be banned from kids until at least the age of 16, because by that time you're like halfway into high school. You're not being indoctrinated by these social media companies. It's going to help a lot of young women as well, because Instagram has really destroyed their framework. So I don't think social media companies, along with TikTok, should be allowed for a lot of people for until a certain age. Where that age is defined honestly by the government, but like I said, I prefer 18, but some are 16 or whatever, and I can make by with 16, because by that time you don't have kids on social media constantly looking at it through all ages and what have you. Of course, you're gonna have some breaks in here and there, but it's to dissuade people. And I think this is a good thing. I hope Trump does not do something like this, where he might offer a lifeline, but only time will tell. This is a good thing. This is nice. And we love to see it. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted, because it's algorithmic disease, the social media.